legislature is the legislative branch of the federal government, and it creates law that may be enforced throughout the nation. Members of parliament have a few rights and exceptions under the constitution called as privilege of members of parliament that allow them to execute their job entirely and effectively. The legislature retains the authority to examine government policies, authorize government expenditure, and collect taxes. Aside from that, it provides as a venue for individuals to debate their priorities. The council empowers legislature has power to govern their regulation. The council empower legislature has the power to govern their regulation. Next, at the state level, a body that has the same function as parliament called the State Assembly. This is the highest legislative body at the state level, consists of two components, namely the Sultan and State Assembly. The State Assembly is the legislature that has power to enact law and enforce state law called enactment. It has the authority to elect speaker and administer the oath of office to newly appointed state government councillor. After that, the State Legislative Assembly took the appeal of State Assemblymen to the State Legislative Assembly, which was approved by the Speaker, and asked the Chief Minister question about his affair. Official department as a springboard for the Chief Minister to address the concern mentioned. In Malaysia Legislative Assembly, all elected lawmakers represent a single political party. However, various conflicts and problems may arise inside political parties, affecting the party's successes and election results. As a result, political representatives have significant amount of responsibility for resolving internal conflicts. And the more skilled the representative is, the more equipped he or she is to lead the party to victory. The purpose of sampling is to choose members of parliament and state legislative assembly. When members and elected representatives unexpectedly quit the parties, as well as when there was severe rivalry from other party during the campaign, political representatives were found to have problems. Political representatives or their respective parties a debt of gratitude for effectively resolving such problems and responsible committee leaders.
Today, I am HAIQAL ZAINUDDin as a Chief Justice. I'll tell you about judiciary and how Chief Justice works. Now, I will talk about judiciary. Judiciary is the system of court that interpret, defend and apply the law in the name of the state. The judiciary can also be thought of as the mechanism for the resolution of dispute. Next, I will talk about Chief Justice. Chief Justice is the title of the presiding judge of a Supreme Court. In Malaysia, also known as the Chief Justice of the Federal Court. It's the office and the title of the head of the Malaysian judiciary system. Now, how about function of the Chief Justice? The Chief Justice is appointed by the President with the advice and consent of the Senate and as last tenure. Its primary functions are to preside over the Supreme Court in its public session, when the court is hearing argument, and during its private conference when it's discussing and deciding case. Now I will tell you challenge that I have been faced as being Chief Justice. The time when I stepped in as the Chief Justice was a quick or challenging time for the judiciary. The court's image has been battered with disgraceful false allegations of abuse of power, and also controversy involving top judge. The allegation and negative perception against the judiciary was subservient and beholden to the executive. To manage this negative perception and to restore the image of the judiciary is the other challenge that I have to face. And to restore the image of the judiciary, I use my mighty speed that the judiciary is committed to defend the rule of the law and to maintain its independence. Related to maintaining the independence of the judiciary is the challenge that confronts the Malaysian judiciary when deciding constitutional matters in terms of the issue of the issue of the judicial power of the court with our federal constitution. In other words, to deciding case when decisions are made solely on the evidence presented in court by the parties and in accordance with law. Other than that, if you've been to justice, you will get some advantage and benefit. Firstly, when you have a high level of power and responsibility, you can make our world a little bit fair. As a judge, it will be in your hand to make a proper judgment of the situation and to punish people who broke the law. This also led to a more peaceful state of the world in the long run. Other than that, we can have a pretty high standing in society. This is because we will have a big problem without just saying the world will just turn into the anarchy, and there will simply be a lack of fairness out there without someone in place who can objectively judge what's going on and who should be punished.
So today, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. I'm FAIZ ROSLI for DLM3A. We talk about what is executive. Executive is in political means the administrative branch of government. The executive branch is in charge of numerous governmental departments and apparatus. The executive branch frequently divided into three parts: the head of states, the political executive, and the bureaucracy. The majority of the cases and materials in this chapter are about the President of Malaysia and his power. This is because under the Constitution, his roles, duties, and powers are most explicitly specified. Administrative law is ideal dealing with the political executive, which includes the power of the cabinet and the minister, and also studies of bureaucracy are undertaken under the banner of public administration. Okay, so next I will continue about the Prime Minister. So what is Prime Minister? What is the meaning of Prime Minister? Prime Minister is the head of government in a country with a parliamentary or semi-presidential political system. Is known as the Prime Minister or Premier. To remain in office under such a system, the Prime Minister, literal, the first or most important minister, must be able to maintain a continuous majority in the legislature, typically the lower chamber in a bicameral system. Most countries with a prime minister have two executives, which is one is the head of a government and the second is the head of state, generally either non-executive president or a hereditary. The head of a state formally appoints the prime minister, who in turn selects the other cabinet ministers, and the prime minister directs the function of government and supervise the implementation of the government program. The prime minister also coordinates the government preparation and consideration of matters to be decided by Malaysia. Under the Constitution, the Prime Minister roles include advising the Yang di-Pertuan Agong on the appointment of the federal minister, full of members of cabinets. Secondly is the appointment of federal deputy minister, parliamentary secretaries, none for members of cabinet, and the third is the appointment of 44 out of 70 senators in the Dewan Negara of Samaring and Anjaman or sitting of the Dewan Rakyat, the appointment of judge, the superior courts, which are the high courts, the courts of appeal, and federal courts. So, when the Prime Minister is prevented from attending to his or his duty, these are assumed by Minister to resign to deputies for the Prime Minister, or if that Minister is unavailable by the government, longer serving Minister. The role of Prime Minister, again, the Minister office is to ensure that the activities of the Prime Minister and the government flow smoothly in the circumstance. The Prime Minister office also is responsible for monitoring the implementation of the government program and assisting the Prime Minister in general management of government activity. So next, I will go to what is the challenge of being a Prime Minister. So the challenge is to effectiveness are seen by many politicians and several as an endemic within the system. However, it is possible to identify factors that may help minister become more effective. Many those who interview in recognize that, for example, better preparation may have a big difference to their performance, while they state the effectiveness is also hindered by the rapid turnover of minister as a result of over-frequent reshuffles. And next is what is the advantage and benefit of being a Prime Minister? The advantage is understand the mayor's good at rallying crowds, being a cause, example like handle bad situation in some country, and good sense of humor like being good at people, understand corruption, and good also at the slogan format. And the benefit is entitled to have a bungalow and are also entitled to same facilities as those given to serving cabinets minister, including 14 members secretarial staff for a period of 5 years, reimbursing of office expenses, 6 domestic executive class, and also security cover and also medical cover. So before I end, I want to act as Prime Minister. Due to COVID cases, I am Prime Minister of Malaysia. Order all people to break the COVID-19 in this order in force of 1 March 2020. So that's all for me. Thank you very much.